What's up guys, Ed here, and today we're talking about two new supplements that I have added to my stack. A while ago I made a video about I think it was like the big four supplements that I take. That was your multivitamin, your fish oil, glucosamine and chondroitin, and then creatine. Since then I've added two more to my stack just to be healthy, to live a better life. I've done tons and tons of research on them, and I think that these have some good benefits and are actually worth taking. So without further ado, let's introduce those two supplements, are curcumin and potassium. I'm going to get into why I take each one and what kind of benefits you can get out of them, really. So let's start off with curcumin. Curcumin comes from the turmeric plant, which has been used in India for thousands of years as like a spice, as a medicinal herb for different medical purposes. But it comes from that turmeric plant. And curcumin typically makes up 2 to 5% of the turmeric plant by weight. So not a whole lot of curcumin in turmeric, which is why they extract it and make it into a supplement. But it's important to note, before we get into kind of what it does, that curcumin has terrible bioavailability. So that means your body doesn't absorb it very well. If you want your body to absorb it well and make it actually worth taking, you need to take either like a black pepper. I think the compound in black pepper, it's called like piperine or something like that, which helps with absorption. It was by like 2,000% greater absorption. So that actually makes it worth it. A lot of the curcumin supplements that they sell will come with like they call it like with piperine or bioperine or something else. I just take my curcumin every day, and then I do a little bit of like black pepper. I just like grind a little pepper and then lick it off my hand. So it just helps with absorption so that your body can actually use it. Yeah, but curcumin has great anti-inflammatory effects. So it can reduce inflammation, swelling, it can even help with pain relief, stuff like that. It can improve memory and cognitive function. There's a lot of studies out there saying how they might be using it to combat Alzheimer's and stuff like that. It does so because it can signal new neuron growth in the brain, which is pretty cool. There's some protein that it like stimulates to form new neurons and new neuron pathways. So it's good. It helps your cognitive function, improves your memory. Solid. For bodybuilders, this is why a lot of bodybuilders take it. It can prevent heart disease. It's good for your heart. It prevents your artery walls from becoming too stiff. It actually loosens and softens them up, which is good to prevent high blood pressure and blockages. You don't want any blockages that leads to heart attacks, and that's no good. And also your blood pressure will kind of get too high when you start taking some goofy things. Another thing that it does is prevent left ventricle hypertrophy, and it can even reverse it. So that means when you take certain compounds, such as like if you're a bodybuilder taking steroids, all your muscles are going to grow, even your heart muscle. And when your heart muscle grows, it shortens your life. It's not good. It doesn't work right. It can't pump blood effectively. So this will actually reverse left ventricle hypertrophy that happens from steroid use. So that's why a lot of bodybuilders like curcumin. It can also reduce your LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. We don't want high LDL. That's no good for us. It seems pretty well tolerable, not many adverse effects. So that's curcumin in a nutshell. Let's get into potassium and why I started taking potassium. So potassium is an important mineral. Most people don't get enough potassium. Your daily recommended value is like 4,700 milligrams, which is kind of a lot. I didn't really notice how much potassium I was eating until I looked on my little calorie tracker app, and it has all the minerals too. So whenever I log something, it'll log my like potassium, my sodium, all your minerals. And I was getting like 1,000 milligrams of potassium a day, and I'm supposed to be getting 4,700. So it seems like I was way deficient in potassium, which is why I started supplementing it. And it's great for bodybuilders because it can help regulate heartbeat and blood pressure. When you start taking weird stuff, you don't want your blood pressure to get too high. High blood pressure leads to cardiovascular disease, shorter life, yada, yada, yada. Bad things. We don't want that. It'll also help improve bone density and to preserve muscle mass. So great for bodybuilders to get big and strong. If you're cutting, you're going to be able to hold on to more muscle. There was some study where it was like people taking the recommended dose of potassium versus like just 1,000 milligrams. They were able to hold on to like 2 or 3 more pounds of muscle on average. It was something like that. So your body will actually be able to hold more muscle mass if you get the right amount of potassium. And it can prevent kidney disease, especially when eating a high protein diet. A lot of people who lift weights eat high protein, which is not like great for the kidneys. I mean, it's all gotta pass through there and get filtered. So taking potassium will actually help your kidneys to, I guess, function properly when eating high protein diets. The other thing potassium does, potassium works with sodium to control the flow of water in and out of cells. And there's a lot of like deep science behind this, and I started reading into it. But you can actually control like, I guess, the size of like your muscles and how your body looks. Like if your body's holding water, I guess, under your skin versus in your muscles. The sodium and potassium work to like drive water into and out of your cells. So I haven't really looked that deep into it yet, but there are ways to, I guess, control the water in your body to either pump up your muscles and get the water out of your like subcutaneous, like goofy water stores that we don't want. Now, you're not really supposed to take potassium if your kidney function is abnormal, or if you're taking ACE inhibitors, ARBs, similar medication like that. So if you are, talk to your doctor before taking potassium. You don't want to take too much potassium because too much can also lead to some terrible things. So be careful with taking potassium because it does have a lot of good positives, but if you take too much, you can really fuck yourself over. So don't do that. Anyway, there's a quick little spiel on the 2 new supplements that I've been trying out that I've added to my stack. So if you got any questions, let me know. Ed out.